My name's Stone Fitch, and okay. What is belief? By definition, belief is trust, faith, or confidence in someone or something. Now, in this statement, a couple words stand out to me personally: trust, confidence, someone. But one word in the statement really sticks out. Now, faith. Now, I feel that faith is the overpowering urge to just wholeheartedly believe in something. As said in Mark 5:36, overhearing what they said, Jesus told them, "Don't be afraid, just believe." Belief is the root of all religion. It creates a family or a community inside the church. It brings us closer to God, but it also tests us. None of us are perfect. Sometimes we stray from the path that God has put us on, and sometimes we never come back to that family, that belief. Someone is always there for us. This is my path of temptations and belief. Christianity is a choice to either respect God and His Son or to listen to their word and follow it indefinitely. Some people find that they are both of these. I feel that I am one of those people that can't make a choice between one or another, so instead makes his own category. When I say I am a Christian, I mean that I am part of something bigger than myself. I'm part of a group that believes in certain ideals and disciplines. I feel safe to be somewhere with that kind of intentions. During my journey, many members of the Christian family have encouraged me to try new things and go out of my comfort zone. As it says in Peter 3:8, finally, all of you, be like-minded, be sympathetic, love one another, be compassionate and humble. I find that everyone in this church follows these ideals, and that has most certainly helped on my spiritual journey through the Christian religion. Confirmation is the transition between baptism to a full-fledged member of the church, so it's a pretty big deal to be confirmed. One thing you must do is to learn the history of the church. Truly understanding a service is a hard thing to master, but if you can, you will be closer to God than ever. In my experience, confirmation has brought me closer to God by teaching me how to pray effectively. It also showed me that there are other ways to connect to God, like through community and service towards others. But within confirmation, there are always confirmation teachers. You lead me on the right path. I just want to thank Sarah Cates for keeping me on my path ever since I was a little kid, Maddie Marion for leading me and my sister through confirmation, Josh Woods for teaching me valuable lessons about Christianity, James Reese for being a great student and teacher, Mary Hayden Manning for being there for me always, and of course my mom and dad, and Lisa Mason for being a great priest and friend. These have helped me so much, and I just want to give them a big thank you. So in turn, community is important for anyone on their spiritual journey. Faithfulness is the joy of life, and there is always someone there when times get rough. Religion is something that is in everyone, and sometimes you just have to let go of the world and look higher, deeper, and for a moment, just believe.
Hey!
Bravo. Bravo, bravo. Way to go, Stone. Let's hear from Georgia.
Hi, I'm Georgia Kemmett, and here is my faith statement. Looking back on my journey through Christ, I can only find one phrase to describe it. It's a roller coaster. Filled with highs, lows, joy, sadness, doubt, and many more unnamed emotions, my roller coaster has always made me stronger, not just in faith, but as a person. If I could pinpoint the exact moment I jumped on the roller coaster of Christ, it would have to be my first prayer. I don't exactly remember the experience firsthand, but from what my family has told me, it's pretty hilarious. The older I grow, the more I believe that I had the most amazing first conversation with God. Every Sunday night, my whole family, aunt, uncle, grandparents, parents, siblings, and cousins all gather for dinner. Since I'm the oldest of 5 grandchildren, I began the tradition of one of the kids saying the prayer before the meal. Now, I must have been 2 or 3 when I decided to do this, but it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. I was sitting in my high chair, ready to dig into whatever my grandmother had decided to prepare that night. Making sure everyone was paying attention, I began my prayer. Once upon a time, there was a little cookie monster. I am sad to admit that my prayers no longer begin with once upon a time, but I couldn't imagine a better way to start my relationship with God. As I continued to grow older, improving my prayer skills in the process, I couldn't get enough of this Jesus guy I was hearing about. When it was time for me to start school, my parents looked into sending me to the local Episcopal school in Uvalde, St. Philip's. Like a dry sponge, I was soaking everything in. We went to chapel 2 days a week and attended godly play every Wednesday. I can't recall every day that I spent learning about the Bible, but I do know that my time spent sitting crisscross applesauce on that circular rug was well spent. When our short time together was up, I couldn't wait for the next week when we would meet again, wondering what Jesus would do next. At the time, St. Philip's only went through 3rd grade. Unfortunately, I had to leave the little school, but my 5 years there would never be forgotten. I knew that nothing could top my time at St. Philip's, but boy did God prove me wrong. Along with another family who had outgrown the school as well, we decided to start our own little school. Starting out with 2 students, the tailored school was born. Our parents wanted to make sure we weren't missing out on any extracurricular activities, especially the teachings of Christ. That's when Mrs. Harrison showed up. She was a retired teacher who used to teach at St. Philip's. Coming every Tuesday and Thursday, she introduced me to new ways to worship. Without her, I wouldn't know the Bible as deeply as I do today. About a year later, I began to feel differently towards Christ. I wasn't sure how to feel about him. Attending our local church, Holy Trinity, I was still learning about him. I just didn't know if I wanted to. I was scared, doubtful, and worried. Continuing this way for a little over a year, it wasn't until I met Father Casey that I began to feel differently. Father Casey was the current visiting priest, as Holy Trinity doesn't have a permanent rector. He was also the one who taught my sister, cousin, and I how to acolyte. I learned about the history of the church, the parts of the church, and the meanings behind the service. I felt reborn. When I began high school, I continued to fall back in love with Christ. During the day, whenever I needed an extra boost, I found myself talking to him in the hallways. I began saving Bible verses in my phone, and my Pinterest gained a new board full of scriptures and studies of him. This was also the time when I began following Sadie Robertson in her study of God. I can recall the countless nights whenever I stayed up an extra few minutes after doing homework to read her latest blog post. Seeing her so close with Christ, I knew that I wanted a relationship with him like that. Towards the end of my freshman year, I started gathering my classmates to pray before the test that we were dreading to take. One time, I was coincidentally wearing my cross earrings, and one of the boys asked if he could have it. I was confused at first, wondering why in the world would a 15-year-old boy want my earring. Then a wave of relief washed over me when I realized that he was just using it to lead us in prayer before Dr. Marshall's infamous grammar test. I began to find new ways to bring myself closer to Christ. I joined the Fellowship of Christian Athletes that one of the coaches at SMH leads. With a new lens, I once again began reading my Bible, soaking in every word like that sponge I was so long ago. I've taped up Bible verses on my bathroom mirror, reading them first thing in the morning and right before I crawled into bed. I had just recently joined a new soccer team, and before we took the pitch together for the first time, we huddled around and said the Lord's Prayer. I was shocked, yet I knew this was God's way of telling me I was in the right place. Around this time, the summer of 2019, I spent my 8th summer at Camp Longhorn. My favorite camp tradition, although there are so many to choose from, is Church Mountain. During my first year, I just felt different whenever I was up on that mountain. I don't know if it's the whole camp, boys and girls, gathered together worshiping, or the breathtaking view of Inks Lake, but 8-year-old me was hooked. We only got to hike up the mountain 2 times each term, yet last summer I made sure to make more trips. Being the second oldest campers at camp, we had more freedoms and responsibilities, one of them being singing during the first service of the term. My cabin chose the song, Life That's Good, and it couldn't have been a better time to sing it. On our last day of camp, a few of my closest friends and I hiked up the mountain just in time to watch the sunrise. It was right then and there when I truly felt God for the first time. I was mesmerized. As I went through my sophomore year, I needed another way to grow closer to God. Around this time, my family had just attended our first service at St. David's, which is when the topic of confirmation came up. My mother has always told me that I needed to get confirmed, but I never felt a need to until this year, which just so happened to be the first year my sister was eligible. I knew that there was no better place than St. David's to be confirmed. I am sure that my roller coaster of faith began 14 years ago with the words, once upon a time, but the only thing I know about its ending is that it will be with God. I don't know how or when, but I know that He knows. I've always been afraid of how I'm going to leave this world, but after this class, I really don't feel afraid anymore. Not wanting to join him anytime soon, I feel at peace with my end, knowing that he will be there with me when it comes.
Beautiful. Okay, Natalie.
Okay, I'm Natalie Holcombe, and is that what I was supposed to say? Okay. I need guidance. I need guidance from God. I need guidance from people who support me. I need guidance through tough times and through my scattered thoughts. I need guidance for knowing what is right and what is wrong. I even need guidance for all the good things and being happy. I also need guidance as I continue to help others. Being a Christian means I am guided. I believe in God. For me, that means He will always help me. I know I do not have to know all the answers, and I will always need help. God knows my thoughts and knows my heart, whether I pray or how much I pray or not. Being Christian is like eating food. My body needs the nutrients from food. My heart and soul needs Christianity. I am filled with faith, joy, happiness, kindness, respect, and peace from Christianity. Things that have helped me understand God and everything about being a Christian and Episcopalian have been going through confirmation class and helping my mom with godly play. I know more than I did before. I know Jesus' story and sacrifice. Everybody at confirmation class has helped me understand. They are very kind and accepting. Sometimes I am overwhelmed. I want to give up. The people who support me and believe in me don't let me give up and help me through the hard times. A few days ago, my mom and I went for a walk around the neighborhood because I was overwhelmed. We talked about magnolia trees, about puzzles and books, and we talked about my mom's confirmation. We also talked about refocusing in both good and bad times with the help of people who support me in God. I want to believe in God because otherwise, what's the point of life? I get overwhelmed thinking about everything. God and my faith is too big for me to understand. I don't like feeling overwhelmed when I have support. So when I have support, I can be happier and calmer. My mom and this whole confirmation group have been supportive, helping me understand and not judging me. I appreciate their generosity, their jokes, and their honesty and openness about not having all the answers. Sometimes I am happy and sometimes I am sad. During those times, I think about God. It is difficult to explain. I don't like talking about my feelings and thoughts. I never have. But when I think about God, I feel comforted and supported.
Way to go, Natalie. Thank you. Okay, Tommy.
Hi, my name is Tommy Steele. I am a Christian. Being a Christian is about performing rituals, praying, or even going to church. It's about forming an everlasting friendship with Jesus Christ. Maybe you go to church often, or maybe just a little, or maybe not even at all. If you form that friendship, you are a Christian, as am I. Whenever I have faith in God, it almost always impacts me greatly, every single day. It makes hard decisions easy for me to make. I never second guess myself when I have faith. It also makes me feel at ease. Knowing God forgives my sins, I always try to do it as little as possible. The days I feel the faith flowing through my veins are the days I love the most. I've had many mentors through my spiritual journey. There are 3 mentors who have been there since the start: Lisa Mason, Mary Hayden, and Sarah Cates. And the journey would have been very difficult if they weren't there. Quite a while ago, Father Josh joined, followed by James, and then Father Chuck. Before them, there was Mary Marion. I can't imagine a youth group, confirmation class, and acolyting without them there. I think the most recent mentor is James Reese. Confirmation class with James is always a lot more fun. No offense to the others who run it, it's still plenty of fun. My relationship with God grew stronger and stronger with every class I attend. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind, the stronger relationship make the days better, and my faith stronger. The stronger the relationship is, the better the spiritual journey. It's the truth.
Yay, Tommy. Thank you. That was so good. That was a funny line. I think we all laughed, but we were on mute. Okay. Bella, are you ready, girl?
Yes, ma'am. Let me pull it up.
Okay. And take those covers off, girl.
Okay, I will.
Okay.
I'm even wearing my church shirt today.
Oh, yay.
Okay. Can y'all see me and can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Hi, my name is Bella Nasis, and this is my faith statement. When people ask me, what do you think it means to be a Christian? The immediate thought that pops into my head is that I'm a child of God, and I believe that Jesus died for our sins and rose again, and that he will come back one day. But there is more than just words on a page that means you're Christian. It's the surrounding of constant love that you feel when you are when you are surrounded by the people you care about, and the joy of learning about his never-ending stories of what Jesus went through and what he did for us. Having faith in God gives me hope and confidence that I can achieve any goal in my life and anything that comes my way. Having faith in him also gives me hope that he knows what's best for me and gives me obstacles that I can overcome. For example, recently when I've been having a tough time with my friends, I turned to God and church who helped me find out what was best for me. During this confirmation season, we have learned a various amount of new and interesting things. Some of my favorite things to learn about were how much giving back to the community affects people. For instance, when we went under the bridge, there were so many people who were appreciative of our actions. I think being a part of a Christian community affected my faith journey in a positive way because I always had people who were there for me when I had questions or if I was just doubting my faith and in need of a helping hand. I am very lucky to have a support system like St. David's. There have been countless people who have helped me throughout my spiritual journey or when I just needed a friend. Mary, Josh, James, and most importantly, Sarah, Mary Hayden, and Reverend Lisa. All these people have made a huge impact in my life and have brought me closer to God. I can't wait to see where the rest of my life takes me.
Nice job.
Yay, Bella. Way to go. Awesome. Walker.
Okay. Hi, my name is Walker Bryant, and this is my faith statement. When you ask me, what does it mean when you say you are a Christian? It means that I believe in God and Jesus and the story written to the world in the Bible. Having faith in God requires me to help others and participate in church. I will spread the love of Jesus and spread the love of God to everyone to carry on their legacy. That is what was done from the start, and getting confirmed helps me understand my responsibility. Having faith in God affects my daily life in positive ways. My faith helps me with sports I play, schoolwork, and other family things. However, I need to make time for my faith. Sometimes being too busy doesn't allow me to focus on God. The most important thing I have learned in this confirmation class about God is that he is always there for me. What I learned about my relationship with God is I can ask him anything and talk to him whenever I need to through prayer. Being part of a Christian community allows me to support other people through their faith journey and others to support me through mine. Through this confirmation class, I have met many new people that I know can support me and I can support them. I have many mentors through this journey. Most important are the people teaching me through confirmation and my parents. Today, I can say I know God, I love God, and He knows me and loves me too. I hope to pass these feelings on to my brothers and sisters.
Way to go, Walker. Awesome job. Emily.
Hi, I'm Emily Rodriguez, and this is my faith statement. When people say they are Christian, I think of people that go to church, pray every day, and do other everyday rituals. But being Christian is just not all about that. It's about following and incorporating the teachings of Jesus in your everyday life. It's about having an ongoing relationship with Jesus Christ. Some days that relationship is strong, and others it is weak. But we always know that we are deeply and profoundly loved. Being a Christian means that we try to love one another as Christ has loved us. We try to forgive others, help those who are less fortunate, and we pray for others that are in need. During this pandemic, we have so many questions about why this is happening. It is a time that is testing our faith. As Christians, we know that even when we feel weak and down and worthless, there is someone who loves us no matter what and believes in us. This gives us the strength to keep moving forward. One wonderful gift about this pandemic has given us is the time to slow down. It has allowed us to enjoy our families and learn and grow in our faith. While this is a scary time, it has also been a time to slow down and remember how blessed we are. Being part of the Christian community allows us to be surrounded by friends and family who share our beliefs and our values. I've grown up in this church ever since going to daily chapel and Bright Beginnings. Being a part of a church community has allowed me to learn and grow in a loving place. No one ever passes me by here without saying hi or giving me a hug. I've always known I am loved here. So when my faith has not been as strong or I felt helpless, I've known I have this community praying and loving me. I have been blessed with so many people who have helped me through my spiritual journey. Sarah and I both came to St. David's the same year, and Mary Hayden came soon after. They and Lisa taught me so much about what the Bible really means in your day-to-day life. Throughout this time, I've learned so much about Mary, Chuck, Josh, and their loving hearts. I've seen how they care so much about other people. I just met James this year, but I've learned that he is someone who can always find a way to lighten up the mood and finds the fun in whatever we are learning. I've also been so blessed by the love of my parents, grandparents, and friends in my confirmation class.
So good, Emily. That was really good. Thank you. Greer. And then we have Julia. And then, okay, so Abbie, I'm going to have you read yours again because I started recording halfway through. So we'll go Greer, Julia, and then Abbie will read hers again. So everyone has to be patient and listen to Abbie again, okay? And then we'll talk.
Hi, I'm Greer, and this is my faith statement. When I was younger, I would look up videos of an angel or swore that I saw some heavenly being flying above me. This would result in me running to my parents whenever they got home from work. I keep this in mind whenever I'm asked, what does it mean to be Christian? My usual response would be it means that I have a relationship with God while being a part of a church community. Yet, as I continue this class, I realize that it means more. God affects me in my day-to-day life, especially when I need Him. Whenever I'm scared or something isn't going right, I know I can rely on Him to help me. Throughout my confirmation journey, I have learned that no matter what you do or what happens, God will always love you. I have noticed I've grown closer with God. For example, whenever I'm scared or just need someone to talk to, I turn towards God because I know He is always listening. Also, I have faith that God responds to my prayers because when someone in my family was having a bad day, I would pray that He would navigate through the rough patches with them. Their day always turns out better. Growing up in a Christian community, I know that everyone around me is going through their own unique journey with Christ. Learning that those around you will pray for you when you are going through a tough time. For example, having surgery or suffering a loss, I will always have support. St. Philip's, the local Episcopal school that I attended for 5 years, helped me understand God and that He has a life plan for us. During my time there, we would attend godly play every Wednesday. There I learned more and more about the Bible and many stories it contains. Whenever I moved schools, I wondered if I was still going to learn more about God. I was relieved when I discovered that we would have a study of the Bible every Tuesday and Thursday. As I grew older, I experienced God around me in more ways than I realized. For example, every summer since I was 8 years old, I attended 3 weeks overnight camp, Camp Longhorn. One of the major traditions is every Sunday we hike up to Church Mountain. While the whole camp is gathered together, we sing a bunch of worship songs such as Amazing Grace, Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, and Pass It On. My favorite thing about the mountain would have to be the quiet view that I get to experience while up there. While looking down on Inks Lake, you can see everything around you. Seeing God's creation in such peace and harmony brings me a great joy. Another way I feel God is on the soccer field. The club I play for, Classics Elite, has a tradition to gather around and say the Lord's Prayer before every game, whether it's home or away. While we pray, I think about how God will be with me and my team, protecting us throughout the game. With soccer being one of the most high-risk injury sports, I play knowing that He will be there with me, guiding me in order to step off the field with little to no injuries. Most soccer clubs don't pray before games, but I'm lucky that mine does. I thank God every day for blessing me with a team and a culture that appreciates Him the way that I do. Along my journey, I've had many mentors. I will admit there are many confusing parts about this journey, but I know that those around me are more than happy to help me understand, especially my sister Georgia. I watched her very closely as I grew up and saw the little ways she incorporated Christ into her life. For example, I recall she would write Bible verses on her wrist before she took the soccer field. More recently, I've noticed she has put up scriptures around her room to read throughout her day, as well as my parents. My mother attends a Bible study every week, and my dad helps with the services at our local church, Holy Trinity. After reflecting on the different ways my family incorporates Christ into their lives, I realized that God influences us in our own unique ways. He is always with me and will always be as long as I let Him into my heart. I may not know what He has planned for me, but I'm looking forward to experiencing it.
Way to go, Greer. Made me cry a little bit when you talked about Georgia. Julia, you're up.
Okay. So, hi, I'm Julia Zelle, and this is my faith statement. When I say I'm a Christian, it means that I am a believer in God, Jesus, and the Holy Spirit. This means I praise Him with love and compassion. To me, it's not about keeping secrets or performing simple acts, or simply going to church. It's about a strong connection with Jesus. Every time I'm in doubt of a situation, I always ask myself, what would Jesus do? The answer every time is Jesus would love first. Jesus has taught me how to forgive. I frequently saw myself getting mad at others when I was disappointed in them or when I got my feelings hurt. Through Jesus, I have learned that forgiveness creates a strong connection with others and builds a bridge to the Lord. Having faith in God gives me the confidence that I can achieve any of my goals in life. It also helps me in difficult situations. I recently had knee surgery. I certainly was scared and worried what would happen to me. I had faith in God and knew that everything would be okay. As I am still in the healing process 3 months later, I have faith in God that He will heal me to my fullest. Having faith in God has also helped me through this pandemic where we can't see our friends or some of our family. It has led me to believe that everything will be over soon and that all my friends and family will be safe during this time because they are in the hands of God. Through this time in confirmation class, I have learned that giving back to the community helps others in need. It was an experience of helping others that I did not even know before. I learned that sometimes even just small gestures, such as offering a glass of water, may make a huge difference in someone's life. Being part of this Christian community has affected my faith journey in so many ways. Being part of this community always gives me the strength and hope. When I had knee surgery in January, the weekend before I came to confirmation class and asked for a prayer, I had hands laid on me asking God for everything to be okay. Being part of this great community gave me faith. Going into surgery, I knew that my community was thinking of me and praying for me. As soon as I got out of my surgery, I saw that everyone had texted me to let me know that they had prayed for me. I immediately felt fine and had no pain. Throughout my spiritual journey, the people who have always been there whenever I needed a prayer, someone to talk to, or even needed a laughter were Sarah, Mary Hayden, James, Josh, and Mary. They have been great mentors and role models. My parents have also played a huge role in my life, supporting me in all my decisions I make. I am so happy that God has brought us together to create a lifelong relationship with each other, but also with the Lord.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, Abbie, one more time. You get the advantage. You get to go twice.
Okay. Hi, I'm Abbie Storment, and this is my faith statement. My faith in God has been developing since the day I was born. Both of my parents grew up in the Episcopal Church. I grew up around 2 Episcopal priests, and my dad went to seminary for 2 years. I attended St. Luke's regularly, where I was very involved. Over the past few years, we have not attended as regularly, and I miss going to church. We visited St. David's and really liked it. I wanted to get confirmed this year, and I decided to do it at St. David's. Ever since then, I've been going to church more frequently and enjoying going to confirmation class and being involved in Park Lane and Under the Bridge. To me, being a Christian means that I believe in God, Jesus, and that I want them to be a part of my everyday life. Throughout the past 12 weeks of confirmation, I have felt more connected to God than I have felt in a long time. It has made me think of Him daily and just feel connected to Him. Having faith makes me feel less lonely and more confident knowing that someone is there for me, always. I've also gotten better at praying. It might sound stupid, but I have become more aware of the tiniest things that might be bothering someone. For instance, if I notice someone might be having a rough day or someone is going through a hard time, I take a second to pray for them. Also, I've become more aware of what I need prayer for. I've realized when I need to ask God for help and when I need prayer for something that has happened to me. I think having a supportive Christian community has really helped me through my journey. By having people around you that love and care about you or pray for you daily is very reassuring to know. My parents have been mentors for me through this journey because they will take me to church and answer my questions I have. My grandfather has always talked to me about God and supported me in my decisions, and my confirmation teachers mentored me by teaching me more about the Bible and teaching me how to get closer to God. I have gained so much from being in this class, and I can't wait to continue to grow closer and closer to God every day and really focusing on my faith.
Yay, thank you everyone.